As it is the month of Halloween, I thought we would sink our teeth into and slash apart our top horror hidden gems you should check out this October. Firstly, we have a game that is more shocking and disturbing than outright scary, and that game is Corpse Party for the Nintendo 3DS. One of those games that the less you know the better, as it packs a pretty hefty emotional punch, so I'll try my best to sell it to you without giving too much away. Essentially, Corpse Party is an interactive anime ghost story with some light action RPG elements and devastating permadeath sprinkled in for good measure. So make sure you choose your actions wisely, as the wrong choice could see you or one of your favorite characters perish for good. But forget the gameplay and awesome retro RPG aesthetic, as it's the game's nuanced story that's twisted in friendship, time travel, and the paranormal that will keep you hooked, as the plot honestly throws in so many twists and revelations for you to unravel that are genuinely horrifying and delightfully surprising at the same time. As I said, I can't go into too much detail, but this is portable, terrifying gaming storytelling at its finest. While Dead Space is highly known and praised for being influenced by John Carpenter's The Thing, I've always found it funny that pretty much everyone still forgets the actual tie-in sequel game to the cult classic movie that dropped on PS2 and the original Xbox way back in 2002. This game absolutely nails and replicates the tense atmosphere, paranoia, and dread of the movie effortlessly. While the solid third-person survival horror gameplay is nothing truly exceptional, it's the way the game implements anxiety and paranoia into its players that makes the game feel so unique and a true treat to play. An added bonus is that the game follows on the events of the film as you get to go and investigate the aftermath of the horror that unfolded in the infamous Antarctic outpost on that day, which of course means plenty of Easter eggs to uncover. While the debate continues whether The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween or Christmas movie, there is one thing we know for sure, and that is the fact the only scary thing about Capcom's Nightmare Before Christmas Oogies Revenge is how it has no right to be as good as it is. I don't know what the creative minds at Capcom were smoking when they thought, hey, let's give fans a long-awaited sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas, but let's not make it a super simple kiddie game. Instead, let's make a game that's a clone of Devil May Cry. So yeah, let's remove Dante and replace him with Jack Skellington. But I'm glad they did, as what we got was a fully realised follow-up to the cult animation classic that's bursting with charm, incredible true-to-movie visuals, and superb voice acting that's all glued together by gameplay that is essentially a much more streamlined and fun version of Devil May Cry's incredible free-flowing combat. I know it's not a horror, but it would be horrible if you missed out on this one. It is Halloween after all. The first thing that will have you screaming about Rule of Rose is its price, as this game will set you back an absolute ton. But if you can find it, or even try something that sounds like Smemulation, you are in for a very twisted treat indeed. Sure, it's a little rough around the edges gameplay wise, but if you're looking to be disturbed by some truly dark subject matter, then this may be the game for you, as this game pulls absolutely no punches when it comes to the brutality it depicts. And yeah, that's all I can say without YouTube removing this video. Trust me, it's pretty messed up, but still worth your time. Cold Fear was written off upon its release as just a failed Resident Evil 4 clone, but I mean, when you're imitating one of the best games ever made, I don't see why that's a bad thing at all. But something these so-called journalists somehow overlooked is that this game was in development at the same time as Capcom's magnum opus, and only released a few short months after. Anyone that has played this gem will tell you that while yeah, the game does feel very similar to Resident Evil's 4th entry in its over-the-shoulder gameplay mechanics, it is still very much its own beast and should definitely not be overlooked. First up, the story is incredibly daft, but in the best way possible, and it kinda just revolves around the mafia creating zombies. Told you it was ridiculous, but the developer lets the setting and environment do the heavy lifting in the storytelling department. Everything from the weather to every room you enter feeling so vastly different, and even the small environmental details will absolutely hook you into the game's water-drenched world. And that's without forgetting how incredibly varied and horrific the enemies in the game are too. This watery nightmare still looks absolutely gorgeous all these years later, so there's no reason not to check it out. While modern gaming horror fans now recognise the brilliance of Eternal Darkness, there are still so many gamers that have never experienced this atmospheric, nerve-shredding, nail-biting title, so I had to add it to the list, as this game is a horror gem you must experience. I think this may be the only game on the list that is genuinely scary, and will leave you fearing the worst long after you've put the controller down and turned the TV off. Eternal Darkness injects its dread into the player by not only making you dredge through an isolated, ever-changing labyrinth filled with tons of straight-up nightmare-fueled creatures, but also by its use of the game's sanity meter mechanic that will leave you, and the many bodies you hop into throughout the course of the game, questioning what is real and what is not. It's so good. I'm a huge fan of the 2009 Ghostbusters game, but instead of talking about that widely known gem, I present to you Ghosthunter, a 2003 third-person shooter action game that is essentially a Ghostbusters game in basically every single way except from its name. So if you hadn't figured it out yet, in Ghosthunter you hunt ghosts with weaponry that honestly has copyright written all over it. But yet the varied arsenal of crazy weapons is one of the game's biggest strengths. At its heart, this game is simple, silly dumb fun, and it really is unmatched. I mean, there's even one point in the game where you have to face off against ghost snipers. Not all supernatural games have to be creepy, some just have to be creatively stupid and enjoyable, and that's exactly what Ghosthunter is. I initially brushed off that Darkwood wouldn't be that scary due to its top-down perspective, but oh boy, how I was wrong, as playing and experiencing Darkwood is genuinely eerie and surreal. A lot of the fear this game instills in the player comes in genuinely not knowing what is going on and never knowing what threat you will come across next. The game's art and audio are also top notch and add to the already dread-inducing atmosphere perfectly, and the rush back to the safety of your home each night is genuinely thrilling, as is all the poo the bed events that follows. This game makes you never feel safe as a player. Just go give it a go. Right, that's it. I have a ton of other horror hidden gems in many of my other videos, so be sure to check them out, and if you'd like to see a part 2 to this video, smash the like button and let me know your favourite underrated horror gems down below. You guys stay tipsy.